Showtime. Okay, thank you everyone for being here. Today I will be presenting a little discussion, a little sofa talk, accompanied with two great guys. On my right I have On my right I have Laurent Kinet, the CEO of Novable. Laurent is an expert in innovation. He's been working on it most of his career. Has launched many successful companies and has an extensive experience in the field. And I'm here with Maxence. Maxence is the head of partnership at Bloomflow, and Maxence has also been very actively involved in anything related with innovation, startups, relationships, and so on. He can talk to you a bit more about it. We start by a big question and a big topic in the world of innovation. So we know that corporates are trying to innovate, to reinvent themselves, to remain relevant in a very fast evolving world. And at the same time, we also know that startups are the challengers that bring a lot of very interesting, I would say, innovations forward. And both worlds are trying to meet, they're trying to talk to each other. They understand that there is value in collaboration with one another, but they have a hard time finding each other. It takes years to make a deal between a startup or a corporate. It takes months and a huge paper trail to get anywhere, and that is not very agile. But I'm not going to talk about it extensively right now. I would like a little bit your opinion, Maxence, on what are the challenges in the collaboration between startups and corporates?
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. It's a real pleasure to be here and to have the opportunity to share our views at Bloomflow on the topic. So first of all, maybe we need to qualify a bit the observation that you just made, because some corporates are better than others in engaging with startups and in building fruitful relationships on the long term. So this gives us a good idea of the key success factors for building long-lasting fruitful collaboration, and obviously it also gives us more insights on why, unfortunately, most companies are still struggling in collaborating with startups. I won't go into too many reasons for that, but I believe there are three main ones that we can mention here and that are relevant. First of all, there is an issue in terms of identification and formulation of what the corporate is actually looking for, the kind of business needs it has to answer. You have too many companies that are exploring ecosystems, launching POCs without a clear view of actually what they are looking for, what they try to tackle. Second pitfall I wanted to highlight is the lack of stakeholder alignment. Just to illustrate that, for example, say you consider yourself as a rather advanced corporate, and you have an open innovation department that has defined, let's say, a well-suited workflow for engaging with startups. But then you realize that the business units don't know about this workflow, and that actually you have many people starting to engage with the same startups you are trying to engage with. You may have a problem here, even though you have done some work in defining the right workflows. And I would mention last but also important pitfall. It's about ill-suited, time-consuming processes. Even though your company may have built a POC factory that is working properly, in most cases, at some point, when you try to scale the solution you identified as the right one for you, the startup will have to face heavy, ill-suited processes with legal, cybersecurity, IT, and so on and so forth. So these are the kind of pitfalls that we can see, and that explain why collaborative innovation has still to gain in maturity in most corporations.
So basically, the maturity, we have the paper trail or the red tape, if you will, the stakeholder alignment, and the maturity to get there. I see. Laurent, in your, do you have anything that you can complete this observation with? Do you have, in your experience, have you seen something similar or other pitfalls?
Yes, indeed. It's true that large companies have now understood that turning to startups has become a strategic imperative. However, it's a real chaos out there. Microsoft estimates at 150 million startups worldwide. Of course, they are not all innovative, not even viable, but it gives a feeling of the magnitude. With 50 million new startups a year, that makes 140,000 every day. So how could you just spot the right one? So find the right needle in this haystack. So how do large companies do to spot that? Usually they use startup databases. They have a lot of them in databases. And they will find a lot of financial data in those databases. But when you're an innovation manager, the first thing you need to know is not especially the financials, it's the actual activity of those startups. What are they actually doing? And to compensate this lack of information on the actual activity, what they do, well, they just attend Viva Tech or similar events where they can enter in a more intimate relationship and know much more about startups, but with a limited reach, because there is 2,000 startups maybe this week in Paris, but out of millions, it's nothing. So they have to arbitrate between the knowledge and the reach. So it's not optimal in either way. And it disrupts the processes and things like that. So this is the main problem I'd see. It's the volume, it's the chaos, and how to find your way through the fog.
I see. Thank you very much. And this brings the question of how exactly can corporate do better, or how would they go at it in an efficient way to initiate those collaboration after finding and scouting and spotting the and I may be turning up to you, Maxence, since you're a specialist in relationship management with startups. And so, yeah, how, in your experience, how do corporates tackle the relationship and the collaboration path with startups, or maybe just innovative solutions?
When we look at our, let's say, most advanced clients, we really have some really interesting insights, because basically what you want as a corporate is to engage with the best startups that will help you tackle your business needs. So this entails actually three main steps. First of all, you need to be clear on what you're looking for. Second, you must have the capabilities to find the startups that meet your needs, and as soon as possible. This is what you started to explain, Laurent. And finally, you must be in a position to attract and then engage with the startups that you need. Just to elaborate a bit on that, you need to be clear on what you're looking for. So what does it entail? It means that you have to think as soon as possible beyond the POC phase. You need to ensure that the collaboration you are initiating will actually solve a real issue that your organization has, or real business needs that it has. So basically, to do that, you have several ways, but one great way is to gather ideas, needs that arise from the business, from businesses, to process them and to identify the one that really matters, to make sure that it won't be, let's say, a short and it won't be a short collaboration with startup, but a long-lasting one and enthusiastic. Second of all, you must have the capabilities to find the right startup. So you have many ways to do that, but I will let Laurent elaborate on that further. And last, so you must be in a position to attract and engage with the startups you need. Because once you have identified the startups you want, it is highly likely that you are not the only one who wants to work with them. So basically, you need to be careful about your attractiveness. You have to bear in mind that today you have many startups that are tired of engaging in relationships that are ill-defined, with no clear objective, with let's say no clear perspectives. So what you need to do to build a real competitive advantage here is to have a very clear vision of what are your requirements. It's okay for a large corporate to say that you cannot work, for example, with innovative players that are too early stage for you, but you have to give this information as soon as possible, not to waste their time. You need to make sure that you have built the right processes for engaging with the type of players you're interested in, and you need to ensure that all the stakeholders are aware of these processes and align on these. If you're able to do that, in this case you will be able to tackle your business need faster, and you will also embrace, I would say, the startup tempo. So you will become more attractive and able to seize the opportunities that you need.
All right, thank you very much. A lot of insights, a lot of information here. So basically you're saying that we should look maybe inwards first, identify key needs for the corporate, then start the outreach precisely on those topics, and then have the capacity to attract, engage, and maintain the relationship in a coherent way. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely, and just to be clear, it doesn't mean that you do not have, as a corporate, you want to give up on foresight, on trend identification, but it's a different activity. Yeah, in terms of building long-lasting collaboration, you need to be clear on what you want first.
Yeah, and I feel it's a typical confusion to think of innovation as a one big thing and chase the latest trends instead of first starting to spot the real challenges. But Laurent, maybe you have something to add on this?
Yes, I totally concur with what you said, Maxence, but I will add three things. And the first, of course, it's very important to be very accurate when you define your needs and your requirements and what you're looking for. But I would recommend also to leave room for serendipity, because sometimes the solution might come from unexpected origins. And you may find a solution that you wouldn't expect to exist, and it's also a way to open your mindset and sparkle internal creativity and innovation. And a way to do that is to leave some blanks in your scouting briefing, let's say. And also another way to do this is to focus on the problem and really describe what you're looking for in terms of issue and problem, rather than describing the expected solution, because otherwise you will narrow your search, just like any entrepreneur would do. They focus on the problem. So when you reach out to startups, do it as a startup. So the first thing. The second thing is that a corporate should now make the best use of available technologies out there. We're not in the 1980s anymore. There are technologies able to do 80% of the work that you did before. Understanding what a company is about, filtering out, and basically make sure you focus on what really matters. If you choose the right tools and the right methodologies, and what we like to call the right innovation arsenal, and say a couple of tools that really integrate together with the right processes and the right mindset, then it will work. And the third thing I wanted to stress on is that it's really important to understand that understanding a startup actual activity is the key component of it all, because if you don't manage to understand exactly what they do, and especially in the technical aspects, it might disrupt your process and it will be less straightforward. So the more you understand in the early stages, the better it will come afterward. It will be faster, more relevant, and more convenient. So basically you have just to put your entrepreneur's hat when you want to talk to entrepreneurs.
All right, thank you. So far this has been quite theoretical, but concretely speaking, down the line, how do you get started? How do you get your hands dirty, basically? Maxence, maybe you want to get started, or Laurent, who fills up? All right.
Maybe here again I will qualify a bit that, because it's not about getting started. Many companies have already launch innovation vehicles, open innovation departments, incubators, and so forth. So it's not about starting all over again from scratch. It's about, I believe, making sure that you create alignment. So I'm 100% with you, Laurent. On, let's say you have this first phase where you need to have a clear understanding of what is the startup doing as fast as possible, and make sure that it will be likely to answer the problem that you have. So I will elaborate more, let's say, on what you have to do to make sure, as of today, to make sure that the collaboration will actually take place. I think that it's about aligning the different innovation vehicles that may exist in your organization, the BUs, the different departments, to be, so that they can collaborate actively together and as fast as possible. And there is no secret. You need, first of all, to share a common and clear vision throughout your organization. So for that, you also need sponsorship from the C-level, from your leadership. And once you are clear on that, once you can define well-accepted shared processes. And for all this to happen, obviously, you'll need to get equipped with the right tools. And we enter an era of alignment that requires specific tools to make sure that all these people that are working towards innovative topics, let's say, there are many, are equipped with the right tools to do their job. So I will say, it's about defining the vision, defining the workflows, and getting the right tools to get the job done and to execute.
All right, thank you very much. Anything to add, Laurent?
Yeah, I guess you know the Shadows. They once said that when in doubt, begin, and things will roll out. So I would recommend to start early, start now, not losing too much time on long strategy meetings, but putting your hands in the thing. And specifically when it comes to scouting, I would say that instead of waiting for a specific project to come up, to engage in a permanent scouting activity, just to look what's cooking up around you, maybe to anticipate disruptive threats or to get inspired, fuel your inspiration, and in a virtuous cycle or feedback loop, just being the catalyst of new internal projects and ideas. But you have to do that on a permanent basis, because of course any industry is evolving fast, and with startups entering the market at a rapid pace, it's even faster. And so doing that on a permanent basis. And a last thing maybe is to pay attention on the difference of timing between corporations and startups, because a startup, for startups, 1 year is maybe 25% of their life horizon, but for a corporation it's maybe just a couple of quarters. But the timing is very different, and so they should align somehow for that.
All right. Thank you very much for all those great insights. I think we're a little bit running out of time, so just a quick recap. I feel like the key insights was to really look inwards. Don't hesitate to get started. There are partners that can help you out there to either to sync up with startups, or for startups to find some corporates that would be interested in them. By the way, we also have a little innovation workshop that we give for free for those who are interested. Just scan the QR code, and you will land on a page. It's a tip of the hat to Viva Tech, because the landing page is in French. But don't worry, the workshop is given in many different languages, including French and English. So there we are. Maxence, thank you very much. Again, very nice having you here. Laurent, great talk, great insights, and great energy in the voice. Always lovely. Thank you very much.